I heard this quote from Mike Israetel, which changed the way that I train, and it has significantly improved the outcomes I've got from my training in terms of muscle growth. I'm going to show you two different form videos as examples here. So the first one, this is me barbell squatting. I think it's 150 kilos, and I mean, there's nothing wrong with this form or technique, right? I'm going down, I'm going back up. I obviously had some sort of rep number in my head that I wanted to hit, and then once I achieved that, cool, I racked the bar and the set was over. Let's watch another video. This is leg press. I want you to notice, number one, how deep I'm getting, and that's not easy, right? You have to be forcefully trying to get that deep. Number two, how slow I'm controlling the lowering phase on the way down, really controlling it with the muscles, right? I want you to notice that in particular. And then number three, just how much closer to failure this set looks from that last grinder rep, even though both sets were technically 0, maybe 1 RIR. So what's the difference between the two? The phrase that Mike Israetel taught me was lean into the pain. Lean into the pain. What does that mean? Here's what it doesn't mean. It does not mean if your knees are hurting, keep going, bro, because no pain, no gain. That's not what that means, right? It doesn't mean lean into joint pain. It means lean into muscular pain, muscular tension. That's the thing that we are leaning into during our exercises. And this shift really changed the game for me, because what's the thing which causes muscle growth? What are we trying to achieve in the gym? Mechanical tension, right? Tension is what causes the downward cascade of events, eventually resulting in protein from food being synthesized into muscle on the body, new muscle growth. That's the thing which starts. The training is the thing which lights the fire, mechanical tension. What I was doing in the first set on the barbell squats was essentially just rep chasing, right? Chasing a particular number of reps. What I would do differently if I was leaning into the pain more is I would be squatting deeper. I would be controlling the weight all the way down. I would be potentially even pausing at the bottom rather than bouncing out as fast as possible. If I wasn't leaning into the pain in the leg press video, what I would be doing is just not controlling those eccentrics, just letting that weight come flying down and then just grinding through that concentric, right? That's what I would be doing there. So that's the difference between training essentially for strength and size. Right? The power lifter wants to make the heaviest weight feel as light as possible. The bodybuilder essentially wants to make the lightest weight feel as heavy as possible within reason. Yes, we still need to apply progressive overload, which we will talk about, but that's the fundamental difference between training for strength versus training for size, and that mindset of leaning into the pain has significantly improved my muscle growth training. And whilst I enjoy using a decent amount of weight, the thing is, when you train with quote unquote perfect form, right? Good muscle growth technique, you're going to get strong anyway. Okay, you may not be as strong straight away, but you're going to build back up those weights at some point anyway. So it really takes a bit of, I guess, self-reflection and asking yourself, am I chasing reps or am I chasing tension? And for sure, we can go too far with the form, right? We can just become these technique cyborgs, which are not actually training hard enough whatsoever. But then leaning into the pain kind of necessitates that you train pretty hard anyway, right? That you train pretty hard anyway. And this has been massively beneficial for me. A second phrase, and I heard this from, I think it was a guy called Joe Brightman, and so he's a dude in the UK. He talks about bullying new muscle tissue onto the frame, and I thought that's such a good way of putting it, bullying that new muscle tissue on. And when I watch a set like, say, this leg press or even a set of hack squats here, for example, I really feel as if that is what I am executing here. I'm just giving my quads no other potential outcome other than to grow, right? Because of how much tension I'm putting on them. Yes, it's still training close to failure. Yes, I'm still focusing on progressive overload, but just note how much control there is on the eccentric, right? How deep I'm getting, how much stretch I'm getting on that muscle. And then, yes, I'm forcefully driving out of that deep stretched position. To me, that's what bullying muscle tissue looks like. Because again, it would be so easy to just not control those eccentrics and just fly down to, as the set gets harder, not go as deep. That's a big one I see very often. People will just do a smaller and smaller range of motion as the set gets harder because they are essentially rep chasing rather than tension chasing. Here's another example. This was a client of mine, Brett. This is a video of him doing chin-ups, and you can see the form is good, right? The range of motion is completely fine, but essentially there's something missing, right? And in my mind, he's probably chasing a particular number of reps. But once we fixed this, here's a set of lateral raises, and again, it's a different exercise for sure, but you can really see here the difference in form. And I would just put it to you, what do you think causes more muscle growth? Which style of form here? The one where you really control the weight, really lean into the pain, really put a lot of tension on the target muscle, or the one where we're sort of going through the motions and just chasing a particular number of reps. That's the video. Lean into the pain, bully that new muscle onto your frame.